The mood in Beijing keeps getting stranger. The personnel battle around the party's 21st Congress has now fully broken into the open. The real hinge of the 21st Congress is the 5th plenum. And the place to watch most is Xi Jinping's power base, the Fujian faction. Wang Xiaohong's job as police minister is being hollowed out. An inspection team has already moved into the ministry. Beijing right now actually runs on 2 real command centers of power at once, and that setup is what's called dual-track operation.
Once Shi Tifeng took over the organization department, he's clearly not working for Xi. He's working for the anti-Xi camp. This whole run of reshuffles is systematically draining the Fujian faction, Xi's power block.
On the surface, the party looks like it's running normally, but underneath, a vicious power struggle is raging, and it's now entered the final showdown.
The Great Purge has spread from the center to the provinces, and one by one, they're starting to dezify. When Shanghai Vice Mayor Chen Yujian fell, Party Chief Chen Jining quickly pledged loyalty to the central leadership, notably not to Chairman Xi. And Chongqing, Party Chief Yuan Zhejun also backed the center, pushing the scientific view of performance, a phrase straight from the Hu Jintao era.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Pinnacle View. I'm Sean. The mood in Beijing keeps getting stranger. The personnel battle around the party's 21st Congress has now fully broken into the open. And the place to watch most closely is Xi Jinping's power base, the Fujian faction. Wang Xiaohong is under attack from all sides. Chen Shi was suddenly removed as president of the Central Party School, and rumor has it he's been demoted several ranks and forced into retirement. Meanwhile, the Discipline Commission is stepping up, still working through centrally managed officials all across the country. And all of this is positioning ahead of the upcoming 5th plenum. Everyone is jockeying for place. It's the chaos before a big earthquake. Everything's in an uproar, unusually lively right now. Joining me today are veteran media figure Ms. Guo and independent producer Mr. Li Jun. All right, let's pause for a word from our sponsor. Puruitong's Korean Xuanbao Black Ginseng is running a special right now. This black ginseng is made the traditional way, steamed so the active compounds break down finer, which makes it absorb far better than red ginseng, Korean ginseng, or white ginseng. It's gentle on the body, and it won't leave you feeling overheated the way some tonics do. Now here's the deal. Spend $500 and you get a whole root of 9 times steamed and sun-dried Xuanbao Black Ginseng free. When you place your order, just remember to enter our PinnacleView promo code, JYLT, and you'll get free shipping anywhere in the world. Many older viewers tell us that after taking this black ginseng, they feel a real, noticeable improvement. But the one I personally recommend is the set inside, 15 whole roots of black ginseng. A box runs $600, and since you've already spent $500, they throw in an extra root on top. I think that's a really good deal. There's another product that's also really good, the oral liquid. It's a bit cheaper, but honestly, it's just as good. Really, it's excellent. I've tried it myself. Some friends tell me I'm looking really healthy these days, a real glow, and they say I owe it to this oral liquid and the 9 times steamed and sun-dried black ginseng. So I'd really encourage you, if you're looking for a gift for a friend, for relatives, and especially for your parents, do think about picking up this black ginseng. And of course, we want to say a big thank you here to all of you for supporting Pinnacle View. All right, let's get back to the party's power struggle. For a regime that leans this heavily on political violence, the most important instruments of power, everyone knows this, are the army and the police, the 2 things that really keep it in control. Ms. Guo, the army, let's leave that one aside for now, shall we? Word is Wang Xiaohong's in real trouble lately.
Right. In communist politics, it's always been simple. Whoever controls the army and the police holds the real power. Wang Xiaohong runs both the public security ministry and the whole police system, so he's a heavyweight inside Xi's Fujian faction. He's a central figure, and right now he's running into a lot of trouble. Over the Dragon Boat holiday, the Discipline Commission suddenly announced that Zhu Changjie had fallen.
Zhu Changjie.
Right. Zhu Changjie was once head of the Xinjiang Public Security Department, and after retiring, he took a fairly important post, vice president of the China Police Association. And Wang Xiaohong is the president of that police association.
Ah, Zhu was the vice president.
Vice president, exactly. And this is them going after his people. To the entire public security system, this is a very public warning shot. And Wang Xiaohong is close to the breaking point. As for Wang, anyone with a grudge can pick a side now and start filing reports on him.
This is the hidden logic of party infighting. Once someone starts to fall, everyone piles on to finish him. There's one more thing worth calling out. On June 17th and 18th, Wang Xiaohong still made a high-profile inspection trip to Hebei, and he went there as a secretary of the Central Secretariat and a state councillor. That was the title he traveled under, not, you'll notice, as Minister of Public Security. Those were exactly the days word spread that he was under investigation. And there he is, still putting on a show of importance, while back on his home turf, things are coming apart.
By rights, he's a public security man, a state councilor, and the one overseeing the police portfolio. If he's going to Hebei or anywhere else to inspect, it should be police-related work. But this Hebei trip, he doesn't seem to have looked at policing at all. He went to see infrastructure, maybe even the Chang'an new area.
And this isn't the first time. He's a local public security man, operating on his own turf, going down to rally the police and boost morale. But Xi Jinping does exactly the same thing. Xi has essentially privatized the Ministry of Public Security and handed it to Wang Xiaohong as his own. That's just how the Fujian faction operates, and the very same logic, the same playbook, they've now extended over the entire party. On this trip, the authorities wouldn't even let Wang use the title of Minister of Public Security. Since the start of this year, the CCDI has announced 34 centrally managed officials taken down, several in June alone. Take Shanghai's Vice Mayor Chen Yujian. He was Ding Xuexiang's deputy, promoted up the ranks by Ding every step of the way. Then Heilongjiang's Jiang Hongwei, a Li Jianshu man, pulled out one by one. The message to the party. The fifth plenum purge, the de-Shification, has fully begun.
Right. What I'm really watching is Wang Xiaohong and the public security question. Lately, he keeps going around the country on inspection tours. By rights, he ought to be inspecting public order, how the police are running, that sort of thing. But these days, he keeps going to look at the economy, at how businesses are doing, and honestly, that's a genuinely strange thing for a police minister to be doing.
Yes, very telling indeed. During those days of investigation rumors, June 17th, 18, state media ran a report on his Hebei trip. But the wording listed him only as Central Secretariat Secretary and State Councilor, pointedly dropping his police minister title. That's no typo, it's a clear political signal. And here's the interesting part, where did he go? Where exactly? He headed off to the Xiang'an new area, to Baoding and Shijiazhuang, focusing on tech innovation, industrial growth, and urban renewal. A police minister in the sensitive window of being investigated, skipping his actual job to go talk economics, that too is very strange.
This pattern with Wang isn't new. For several years now, there's been talk of taking him down, and both sides have actually been working at it the whole time, which tells you his post as police minister has been steadily hollowed out. In fact, over the past 2 years, even his deputies at the ministry in Beijing, none of them are his people anymore.
None of them his people anymore. All he has left to use now is the title of state councilor, a relatively hollow one. So he moves around, showing loyalty to Xi's pet policy projects, but he's not allowed to give orders as Minister of Public Security. They're already boxing him in. There's a deeper logic behind this. From 2024 into early this year, a whole batch of vice ministers at public security were swapped out. His people, Xu Ganlu, Chen Xiyuan, Sun Maoli, men very close to both Xi Jinping and Wang Xiaohong, were dismissed one after another. The ones promoted in their place aren't truly part of Xi's faction. By now, the only person at the ministry still seen as a genuine Wang loyalist is one man, the executive vice minister, Qi Yanjun. Just that one. They very much wanted Qi Yanjun to take over Wang Xiaohong's current position, but it couldn't get approved. The whole thing stalled. This personnel swap is happening step by step, and Wang's power really is being whittled down. But the reason the elders don't dare let it move too fast, or too messily, is that they're wary Wang still holds some cards. The provincial police chiefs he sent out from the ministry, by one count online, well over 60% of them, were all dispatched by him from public security in Beijing. So this whole layout means he still carries a fair amount of pull throughout the national public security system. In theory, enough to stir up real chaos. Officials everywhere are reading the wind and picking sides. The elders fear the province is spinning out of control, but Wang's chips are steadily draining away. The CCDI inspection team has already moved into the ministry and taken some concrete actions, and from here his leverage keeps slowly slipping away. And exactly who replaces him is itself the product of an intense behind-the-scenes fight. The name making the rounds now is Wang Zhonglin, who just stepped down as Hubei Party Secretary. He has a public security background, and he's not part of the Fujian faction. If he takes the police minister's job, it means the anti-Xi camp has gained the upper hand over the security forces, the police, and the means of coercion.
I know that in the past, to take the police minister's job or even the political legal commission, you had to have served at the provincial ministerial level to have actually worked in local government. Wang Xiaohong was something of an exception. He came up entirely within the police system, step by step. But there's another man, and there's chatter about him too, someone who controls another part of the security apparatus, Chen Yixin. Chen Yixin is over at State Security, and many are saying things may be going wrong on his end too.
Right. All eyes are on public security and Wang Xiaohong, and now it turns out Chen Yixin's hit trouble too. On June 15th, the State Council held its 20th special study session, chaired by Li Qiang. The vice premiers, the state councilors, the top official of every ministry, they were all there. But in the state security seat sat not Chen Yixin, but the ministry's current vice minister, Ma Wanteng. By convention, when a deputy stands in for the top official at a top-level meeting like this, where everyone shows up, there are only two possibilities. Either the top post is vacant, or the person holding it is himself in trouble. And Chen Yixin had nothing else on. The seat is his, yet he simply didn't appear.
He didn't show, so no one really knows what's going on inside, which is why there's so much speculation right now.
Then by June 22nd, Chen Yixin had gone nearly 2 weeks without a public appearance. He'd already been fading from view before that, far less active than he once was. Yes, for a while he was extremely active. Right. The very last activity on record for him stops on June 9th. The party's Political Legal Commission website said he had recently met the head of the UAE's National Intelligence Service, without even giving a specific date. Before that, on June 4th, it said he was recently on an inspection in Linxia, Gansu, again with no specific date. 2 weeks of silence is pretty abnormal for a full minister rank official. By the party's usual playbook, when a bureau-level cadre is about to fall, the Discipline Commission can just haul him away on the spot. But hauling away a full minister rank official in public looks bad. So now they have a set routine, have him miss a few important meetings first, signaling step by step to the outside world that this man is about to go down. With Wang Xiaohong, the inspectors moved into the ministry and hollowed out his power. With Chen Yixin, it's the repeated absences from a very important top-level state council meeting.
Right?
As for Chen Yixin himself, he's a core member of the Zhejiang New Army. From 2002 to 2007, while Xi Jinping was in Zhejiang, Chen was Deputy Secretary General of the Zhejiang Provincial Party Office and later Director of its Policy Research Office, serving Xi directly for over a year. After Xi rose, he promoted Chen all the way, Wenzhou and Wuhan Party Chief, Zhejiang Standing Committee, Political Legal Secretary General, until October 2022, when he took the Public Security Ministry.
State security, you mean?
Right, with state security in hand, he moved aggressively. You'll remember how active he was back then, overstepping constantly, and that may be exactly why he's in such trouble now. Public security handles the domestic, state security, the foreign. Ordinary people would almost never deal with state security. Daily life doesn't touch overseas intelligence. But after Chen Yixin took over, he turned state security into a high-profile department. He published constantly in Quxi and the Study Times, holding forth on so-called economic security, claiming that financial surveillance was now part of state security's mandate.
Right. He stretched the idea of state security so wide that absolutely everything became a national security matter. Back then, there was a 500,000 yuan bounty for reporting foreign spies. People joked everyone started to look like a walking 500,000. You have to understand, the Ministry of Public Security isn't actually a high-ranking body within the communist system. Take the old structure, the General Staff Department had a second bureau and a third bureau, both doing intelligence. The General Political Department also had a second bureau, and that one handled political intelligence. So the military had a great many intelligence operatives of its own. This was the old setup. I can't speak to exactly how it stands today. In the party's overseas spy network, there's the military, the liaison department, the United Front, and public security is just one piece, running relatively few people.
And mostly intellectuals, too.
Right. They ran relatively little, so once he arrived, he set out to expand, to pull in the overseas intelligence of the military, the liaison department, the United Front, the General Political Department, all of it into his own hands.
Right. Pulling it all into his own hands, which inevitably meant treading on other people's turf.
Right. Many call him a man terrified Xi might forget he exists. So, how could a man like that possibly choose on his own to skip these important state council meetings now? He's 67 this year, and under normal circumstances, he'd be retiring at the 21st Congress.
Unless he's bumped up to deputy national rank.
Right. He's hungrier for visibility than anyone, banking on Xi to lift him to deputy national rank so he can stay in the game a few more years. For a man that desperate to be seen, dropping out of public view for 2 whole weeks, that's unusual, isn't it?
Right, that really is interesting. There's another story I've seen circulating a lot online, Li Jun. Have you come across it? It's about Shi Tifeng. Lots of chatter right now.
Shi Tifeng's position right now is critical.
That's right. He's head of the organization department.
Exactly. In April 2025, after he and Li Ganji swapped posts and he formally took over as head of the Central Organization Department, that's the body that controls the country's key personnel. Every appointment and dismissal is in his hands. And since he moved up, we've genuinely seen a whole string of personnel changes. The rhythm is clearly different now, a completely different picture from the earlier Chen Shi era.
Right, a different direction entirely.
A different direction. Most of those pushed out were people from Xi's inner circle, the Tsinghua crowd, the Fujian crowd, all of them genuinely connected to him. But almost none of those brought in to replace them have any obvious Xi faction background. Look at Chen Shi over the previous decade. When Chen Shi ran the organization department, everyone who got promoted was one of Xi's people. All Fujian, all Zhejiang, all Tsinghua. The system he's building is the exact opposite. So once Shi Tifeng took over the organization department, he's plainly not working for Xi Jinping, he's working for the anti-Xi camp. Because this whole series of moves systematically weakens the Fujian faction, Xi's power base, clearly laying the groundwork for the 5th plenum and for the 21st Congress. So I think this online chatter aimed at Shi Tifeng is most likely, and this is my read, Xi Jinping's own camp planting the stories, right? And to what end? To send Shi Tifeng a warning.
At the very least, we can say this much. It proves the infighting inside is now extremely, extremely fierce. But I know Shi Tifeng actually did surface on June 15th. He took part in that party building work, didn't he?
Right, and that meeting was an important one.
Indeed.
Right. On June 15th, Shi Tifeng suddenly appeared in public. He chaired the Central Party Building Work Conference held that very day. Cai Qi was there and gave a speech. Li Shi attended too, but didn't say a single word the whole time.
Which is a little odd.
Quite a contrast, the CCDI secretary's unusual silence on one side, the organization department chief openly chairing the meeting on the other. So what about Li Shi? The online rumor mill keeps saying it's somehow tied to Ma Xingrui. Because when Ma Xingrui first disappeared, around the time of that important meeting, Li Shi disappeared as well. But once the meeting was over, he came back out again. There's a version going around that says Liu Jingguo is now running the Discipline Commission day to day, while Li Shi keeps the title but pulls back a little, moving to the second line, lying low. He has some issues of his own, and if he got pulled into the 21st Congress power fight at its most intense, it could get more dangerous for him, so stepping back is also a way of protecting himself. And Liu Jingguo works in tandem with Shi Tifeng. One removes people, one swaps them in.
Right, and there's another strange Beijing case, Chen Shi, the one you just mentioned. What on earth is going on with him? Right now there's no information at all, no official word whatsoever. We're talking about a ministry-ranked senior official, a former Politburo member, and the Central Party School is, at minimum, a ministry-level institution. They replaced the man with no official statement of any kind, and that is a very strange thing. The party school has a nickname inside the party, right? They call it the Second Organization Department. And the reason he was able to hold that post for so long? Because his ties to Xi Jinping are especially close, right?
Chen Shi is one of the men who built Xi's Fujian faction from the ground up. So even though he's no longer a central committee member, he could still keep watch over that key position at the party school, the one that grooms and screens cadres, and that's precisely the reason. But the turning point came in April 2025, that swap between Li Ganji and Shi Tifeng. Li Ganji was a confidant Chen Shi carefully groomed to take his organization department post, and even after taking it, Li Ganji often reported back to Chen Shi. Right, Chen Shi signed off on everything. Right? On anything, you'd ask the old minister to vet it. Have a look, what do you think? At the 20th Congress, every Central Committee member back then was vetted by Chen Shi. Now it's switched to Shi Tifeng, over a year running it, and not a single Fujian faction person has been promoted, right? In late May, Chen Shi's hand-picked Peking University president was replaced too, a slap in the face. Over the past 3 years, Chen Shi's several aides at the organization department have fallen one after another. This purge began at the fringes, and now it's finally reaching the man himself.
So in early June, when Chen Shi was abruptly removed as president of the Central Party School and replaced by Tsai Chi, one version going around says it was to cover up the matter of Zhang Yuxia being seized there at the party school. Because Chen Shi can't wash his hands of it, Zhang Yuxia was seized on his turf. If people come to investigate, Chen Shi has to give a clear account. Now an ordinary party member, how can he hold up? So he handed the post to Tsai Chi, that's the theory. But now, on June 18th, his role heading the Academy of Governance was stripped too. Right? And word is he's now retired, demoted all the way down to deputy bureau rank, knocked down many levels at once. If Chen Shi really is in serious trouble, the blow to Xi Jinping and to the entire Xi faction would be enormous. He's no ordinary cadre, he's the chief architect of the Xi faction's personnel system over the past decade. With the organization department slipping away and both the party school and the academy changing hands, the Fujian faction's core figures are being systematically cleaned out. So Chen Shi, too, is in real danger.
Right. And it's not just Chen Shi and that whole block. I know that lately Beijing, Shanghai, and Chongqing have all had officials fall. Isn't that so, Ms. Guo? And the local governments moved fast to make their statements too. The regional bosses all came out with declarations, and a lot of people say there's plenty to read into them.
Beijing's party secretary immediately convened a standing committee meeting to make a public declaration of loyalty. He pledged absolute loyalty to the party, vowed to prevent the 7 malpractices and root out double dealers. But the whole thing was about the party central, and not once did he mention Xi Jinping by name. Leaving out Xi's name means backing the center, not personal loyalty to Xi the way it used to be.
Which means it's not Xi's central leadership.
Right?
It's a different center altogether.
Right, so the logic here is the contest between the Party Elders Coordination Group and Xi Jinping's inner circle. And now you can see a clear line has been drawn. It's reached the point where regional bosses have to weigh every word carefully when they make these public declarations. Then on to Shanghai. On June 10th, Vice Mayor Chen Yujian fell, and he was someone Ding Xuexiang had personally groomed.
Right? He was Ding Xuexiang's man.
Yes, Ding Xuexiang. Then Party Secretary Chen Jining made his public statement, but he neither loudly proclaimed the two establishments nor mentioned the two upholds. He spoke of uniting thought and action behind the central leadership's decisions. That phrasing is unusual. It's not the old formula anymore. It's about this new central leadership's arrangements, the central authority on its own, and of course with no Xi Jinping attached. Shanghai has always been the core turf of the old Zhang faction loyalists and the princelings. So Chen Jining's statement was about obeying the central leadership, but not a word about obeying Chairman Xi. Over in Chongqing, Party Secretary Yuan Jiajun's statement also drew enormous attention. He likewise declared support for the central leadership, and the phrase he used was support for the scientific view of performance that Xi promotes. And as everyone knows, he didn't actually invoke Xi Jinping, none of the two establishments that Xi now emphasizes. That scientific view of performance he spoke of, that new performance view, is Hu Jintao era vocabulary, the classic Hu Jintao register. A Politburo member, at the moment of pledging, deliberately reaching for Hu Jintao's language, that's something everyone picked up on. Guangdong is intriguing too. Party Secretary Huang Kunming is a die-hard Xi loyalist. Everyone knows he's been pushing Xi's program there. On June 11th, the center suddenly named Guangxi Vice Chairman Hu Fan to be Guangdong's organization department head, dismantling Huang Kunming's arrangements. He stressed it was the center's appointment. The organization chief controls personnel, a province's lifeline, and here the center parachuted someone straight in, clearly to keep Huang Kunming's people out of the post. In other words, the center is taking over, reaching straight into Guangdong using a parachuted organization chief to box Huang Kunming in. Hu Fan has long served in Guangxi and in the finance ministry system. He has no ties to the Guangdong camp, so he's essentially an outsider planted there from above.
Okay.
Put these scenes together and you get a clear national picture. The Great Purge has spread from the center to the provinces, and province by province, they're starting to de-Xi-fy, right? And we all know the focus of the struggle right now is the 21st Congress, isn't it? But the 21st Congress, to drill down to the truly key point, really comes down to the 5th plenum, because right around the 5th plenum is when it may involve the reshuffle of local governments. The party's personnel logic works like this. Before the 5th plenum, the lists of top local leaders and ministry chiefs are locked in. Those lists directly decide the 21st Congress's full and alternate Central Committee members, which in turn decides who makes the Politburo and the Standing Committee.
So this window we're looking at now is really the opening skirmish of the whole 21st Congress personnel layout. Whoever wedges his own people into the provinces and ministries first is the one who seizes the advantage at next year's Congress, the full party Congress. Takedowns, informant reports, denunciations, they're all just tools in this maneuvering. And the Discipline Commission's moves are very intense. At this moment of jockeying for position, each side is hauling down the other's people.
Mm.
And that's exactly why what we're seeing is so intensely fierce right here. The complexity of this layout, honestly, goes far beyond ordinary factional competition, because Beijing right now actually has two real command centers of power. One is the Decision-Making and Deliberation Coordination Group, publicly announced at a 2025 Politburo meeting. The very emergence of this body is a historic event. It uses a collective mechanism to disperse the power of supreme decision-making, in effect hollowing out Xi Jinping's personal core status to a very considerable degree. And military authority now sits, it seems, on the side of that decision-making coordination group. Personnel power, through the Central Organization Department and the Discipline Commission, is on this side as well. At the CCDI, Liu Jingguo carries out the coordination group's will. The coordinating mechanism of the Hu-Wen-era elders is steering the entire anti-Xi operation precisely through this body. And the other command center is Xi Jinping's side. He's still nominally the top leader.
Right.
The party constitution's general secretary, the CMC chairman, the surface authority is still his, and he still holds a few real cards. The police system isn't fully cleared. He can still reach Guangdong, Huang Kunming, some central western provincial chiefs, and the party's ideology and propaganda apparatus. So even the top leader title still carries mobilizing power under emergency conditions. So today, the party runs normally on the surface, while a vicious fight goes on underneath. Public security, state security, the party school, local organization systems. What's being fought over is the military, the police, and control of personnel, all around the 21st Congress and whether Xi gets another term. This whole thing has now entered the final decisive battle, and before the decisive battle comes the skirmishing, all the probing, just as you said, is already out in the open. Everyone inside the party wants to preserve the party, and at the very same time wants to put the other side to death. If you don't follow it, think of it this way. When the old emperor dies, several little princes each want to put the others to death and become emperor themselves, yet none of them wants to bring down the dynasty itself, to wreck the family's own realm. Every one of them thinks that way. So this kind of balance is extremely, extremely dangerous, and a balance like this, as a rule, is destined not to last. Well, that's all for today. A big thank you to both our guests, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.